Hello. It's another semester at MTSU, spring 2021, almost. And here I sit in the blinding sunlight. Sorry about that. I know it makes me look like one of those Star Trek characters, light on one side and dark on the other. Well, maybe that's not inappropriate. Anyway, this is Democracy in America. First time I have taught this course. It's a MALA course, Master of Liberal Arts. And so let's introduce ourselves and be ready to run. We're going to Zoom for the first time a week from tomorrow night, and then every Tuesday night thereafter. I have sent the Zoom links to the registered students, and sort of can't wait. But there's an introduction posted on our site, Democracy in America, supporting MTSU's eponymous Master of Liberal Arts course, Spring 2021 and beyond. It's here that I would ask the students to post their own introductions in the comment space right below mine, which reads as follows. Let's begin to introduce ourselves. Spring 2021, Democracy in America co-philosophers. Co-philosophy is what I call my Intro to Philosophy course. I'm teaching 3 sections of that this semester, in addition to this course on democracy, and in addition to a one-on-one independent readings course with a student who's wanting to learn more about American philosophy and pragmatism in particular. Well, you guys will be hearing probably more than you want about pragmatism, because that's sort of my home base. That's what I've done my work in, my scholarly work. I've written a book about William James, and that's sort of the lens through which I see the world, including the world of philosophy. But William James said, you've never heard of him, by the way, this is another one of my soapboxes that I always trot out on opening day. It's sad to me that so many Americans, through no fault of their own, have not heard of William James in the course of their academic careers. I mean, if you go to Greece, and I expect by the first grade or so, and ask a random first grader to name a philosopher in their tradition, they would say Socrates or Plato or Aristotle. If you go to an American at just about any age and ask them to name a philosopher, they're often hard put to come up with a name. So you need to know the name William James. He's as close as we've got, I would argue, to a Socrates. Some will make a case for Emerson or Thoreau, or maybe John Dewey, or I even have a colleague who'd make a case for Charles Sanders Peirce. But in any event, William James, 1842 to 1910, said, the pluralistic form of philosophy takes for me a stronger hold on reality than any other philosophy I know, being essentially a social philosophy, a philosophy of co. So, co-philosophy. We're all co-philosophers here. If you want to look up the essay that quote comes from, it's called The Essence of Humanism. It is chapter 5 in James's book, The Meaning of Truth. I wrote a book about some of James's ideas. It's around here somewhere, but I'm not going to take the time to pull it out. But if you ever want to see it, well, our library has at least 1 copy, and up in my office, which I look forward to revisiting at least once a week this semester. Up in my office, I've got a few extra copies I'm happy to lend, and if you like it enough, I'll sell it to you cheap. I've still got more than I need. But in the comments section below, tell us who you are, why you're here, what democracy means to you, and your assessment of the current health and future prospects of democracy. And if you're feeling even a little more ambitious, you can record and share your own Renew Democracy reflections. Hashtag Renew Democracy, which is something that someone else initiated, but that I think we all ought to give some thought to, especially with Inauguration Day looming, as I sit here and record this on Monday, Inauguration Day is Wednesday, and I know a lot of us have a lot of trepidation about how that's going in the wake of January 6th. Fingers crossed that we're going to have an uneventful and ceremonially appropriate inauguration for the 46th president. One of the things to talk about in our course. So who am I? I'm Dr. Oliver. I've been at MTSU for about 20 years now. It's hard for me to believe, in a way. In the Department of Philosophy. It was just the Department of Philosophy when I signed on. Now it's the Department of Philosophy and Religious Studies. That dimension of our department is growing and is an exciting facet of our curricula. I have taught several MALA courses, Master of Liberal Arts, over the last few years, including Evolution in America. Taught that one twice, hoping to do it again in the future when the pandemic's over so that we can again take a field trip, as we did time before last, down to Dayton, Tennessee in July for their reenactment, something they've done every year, I think, just about without interruption since the Scopes trial in 1925. It was a lot of fun, and it was enlightening and surprisingly good. It was sort of a community theater project that gives those folks their sense of identity as a historically important play. But anyway, that's what's related to democracy in America, but it's not what we're immediately here to talk about. So we'll see whether that topic comes up again in the course of our deliberations and our conversations on Tuesday nights. But let me offer my own renewed democracy reflections. Democracy to me means the ongoing effort to live amicably and peaceably among diverse peers, not just tolerating, but actually celebrating our differences. But it also means not tolerating intolerance. That's where I draw the line. It means acknowledging that we're all free to think our thoughts and live our lives, constrained only by the obligation not to constrain others' freedom. And of course, I suppose it must now be said explicitly in the wake of January 6th, to respect the rule of law. It means mutual respect. It means a willingness to listen and learn and sometimes compromise our own personal preferences. It means a recognition that we are individuals in community and that there is such a thing as the public good that transcends our personal private interests. That's what it means to be an individual in community, as opposed to, say, Robinson Crusoe or Tom Hanks in Castaway with his pal Wilson. Even he needed a community of sorts. Anyway, and there's a lot more to be said about what democracy means to me and to you, and I look forward to learning from all of you to exploring this question about what it means to be a citizen in a democracy in greater depth as the semester unfolds. And we'll begin with a look at Alexis de Tocqueville's classic Democracy in America, sort of compare his early to mid 19th century reflections with our own and sort of gauge where we are in relation to that and possibly where we're headed. And then to John Dewey, who wrote Democracy in Education, and I think that one of his premises is that a healthy democracy must educate its citizenry, that the education of our children is paramount, and that all children are our children in a democratic society. It's something to reflect on in the light of the most recent administration's approach to privatizing education. And at the end, in May, end of April, early May, we can revisit our earliest reflections on the question of what it means to live in a democracy. We can revisit that, think about how our ideas and we may have evolved over the course of this semester in terms of our understanding of what it means to be citizens of a democracy. So, that's my start of an introduction. You'll learn more than you want, I'm sure, about who I am and what I think about things, but I really want to know about what you think and who you are. So it's your turn. Who are you? Why are you here? What does democracy mean to you? How do you assess the current health and future prospects of American democracy? And you can go ahead and begin to put your thoughts in the form of your own introduction in the comments space right below mine. And you can ponder those questions and be prepared to talk about them on Zoom a week from Tuesday the 26th, 6 p.m. And by the way, we are allotted 3 hours. I will not be a stickler for eking out every last second and minute of those 3 hours. If we decide that we have concluded our business early on any given Tuesday night, we will conclude. Ultimately, of course, nothing has concluded that we may conclude in regard to it. That's what William James said right before he expired, by the way. Anyway, not to be flippant about something as grim as mortality, but on the other hand, we can't take ourselves too seriously either, can we? In a healthy democracy. Okay, so looking forward to meeting you guys. And in the meantime, reading your introductions. Read each other's introductions. I already know many of you. Looking forward to getting to know all of you. And I'm sure many of you already have met as well. But post your introductions. See you real soon.